Bukhari covers the financial feud this way.
Fatimah came to Abu Bakr, claiming her inheritance of the Prophet's land of Fadak and his share from Khaybar. Abu said, "I heard the Prophet say, 'Our property is not inherited.'"
Muslims the world over are brainwashed to believe that their Prophet died broke, with nothing more than his robe and sandals, but that, like so much of Islam, is simply not true. For example,
Bukhari, there was a man who looked after the family and the belongings of the Prophet, called Karkara. He died, and Allah's apostle said, "He is in the hell fire. He has stolen a cloak from the Prophet's war booty."
buried among the money-grubbing hadith are two that contradict a score of others.
Bukhari, the Prophet died while his armor was mortgaged to a Jew for 30 sahs of barley.
Sorry, I'm not buying that. Mohammed and his pals had murdered, enslaved, and exiled every Jew worth robbing. And
Bukhari, Allah's apostle did not leave a dinar or dirham, or a male or female slave. He left only his white mule on which he used to ride, and his weapons, and a piece of land which he gave in charity for the needy travelers.
So for argument's sake, let's say that this one is right and all the others are wrong. It really doesn't matter if he died covered in stolen plunder or not. The fact he stole is what's important. Criminal behavior destroys his credibility. The fact that he owned and used slaves, especially female slaves, speaks to his depraved character as well. And the fact that the most inspired Sunnah scriptures in Islam conflict with one another suggests that none of this can be trusted, and that's important too.
Bukhari, Fatimah, the daughter of the Prophet, sent someone to Bakr asking for her inheritance of what Allah's apostle had left of the property taken from the Fi booty gained without fighting in Medina, and Fadak, and what remained of the Kumas,
Muhammad's fifth of the booty gained through fighting,
of the Khaybar booty. On that Abu said, "Our property is not inherited. Whatever we leave is sadaqah. But the family of Muhammad can eat of this property. I will not make any change in the estate of the apostle, and will dispose of it as he used to,"
bribing men to fight.
So Bakr refused to give anything to Fatimah. She became angry. When she died, her husband Ali buried her at night without informing Bakr, and he said the funeral prayer by himself. When Fatimah was alive, the people used to respect Ali, but after her death, Ali noticed a change in the people's attitudes toward him. So he sought reconciliation with Bakr.
The warlord is dead. Long live the warlord.
Ali sent someone to Bakr saying, "Come to me, but let nobody come with you," as he disliked Umar. But Umar said, "No, not alone." Ali uttered tashahhud,
a ritual prayer,
and said, "I know your superiority and am not jealous, but you did not consult me in the question of rulership, and I thought that I had a right to rule because of my near relationship to Allah's apostle." Thereupon Bakr's eyes flowed with tears. "As for the trouble which arose between me and you about his property, I will spend it according to what is good, and will not leave any rule or regulation which I saw Allah's apostle following in disposing of it."
In other words, you're out of luck, kid. I've already grabbed the power and the money, and I'm not giving you either.
Ali added, "I believe that I have some rights in this affair, and when you did not consult me in these matters, it caused me to feel sorry."
Even Aishas wasn't keen on the idea of her dad running the Islamic war machine.
Bukhari, Aishas added, "I had argued with Allah's apostle repeatedly about his order that Abu Bakr should lead the people in his place. What made me argue so much was that it never occurred to my mind that after the Prophet the people would ever love a man who had taken his place. I felt that anybody standing in his place would be a bad omen to the people, so I wanted him to give up the idea of choosing Dad."
There was more bickering. The Meccans wanted to return the Kaaba's custodianship back to the line of Qusay. Baker didn't qualify. And with the warlord dead, Arabs stopped paying the zakat tax. That was a problem, because there was no village in Arabia left to rob. Islam was teetering on financial ruin. So Baker did what any good fundamentalist Muslim would have done. He grabbed his sword, called his fellow militants, and forced the entire subcontinent into submission. He called it the War of Compulsion. Baker, like Mohammed, was in it for the money. This hadith is very incriminating. There is no suggestion of salvation. Religious ritual is discounted, but money continues to reign supreme.
Bukhari. When the Prophet died, Arabs reverted to disbelief. Umar asked Bakr, "Should we fight these people?" Allah's apostle said, "I have been ordered to fight everyone until they say, 'None has the right to be worshipped but Allah.'" Bakr replied, "By Allah, I will fight whoever differentiates between the salat,
a prayer performance,
and the zakat,
a tax payment.
As the zakat must be taken from property according to Allah's orders. If they refuse to pay me, I will fight them." Umar said, "I noticed that Allah opened Bakr's chest toward the decision to fight."
All the while, the pungent aroma of Muhammad's rotting body was fouling his mosque. So the decision was made to bury the dead prophet as he had lived, beneath the bed upon which he had died morally a decade earlier.
Tabari. They buried him where he died. Aishas' bed was removed, and a grave was dug beneath it.
The profiteer whose religious scam had been conceived when, terrified and suicidal, he had crawled into the bed of his 60-year-old wife, died in the bed of his child bride. Mission completed. He had gained property, pleasure, and power. But at what cost?